I thought this was a pretty interesting thing that I saw, and I thought this was a something that would be a pretty good video. And this kind of echoes a lot of the trials and tribulations that are facing Microsoft at this particular point in time. We know that Microsoft is struggling to sell consoles. That doesn't mean that there's a lack of players across Xbox. I mean, obviously, there's people on Xbox One still. There's people on, Xbox Series X and S. I doubt that the Xbox Series X and S passed the Xbox One in sales or anything, but, we are living in a world where, things are kind of different than they were before. But again, I have to kind of point out that it's integral. It's integral for the Xbox to sell well, right? We know that the Xbox is factually not exactly selling well, and it could negatively impact how developers view the platform. And you don't want developers to view the platform in a negative light, because that means that they might decide not to make games for it, and that would be a very, very bad thing. It means that basically PlayStation could end up getting the exclusives with paying $0 just because developers don't feel it's worthwhile to put their games on Xbox. And so this is a very interesting case of that. I want to get into it. Should be a fun video. It should be an enlightening video, and I'm sure a lot of you have a take on it as well. What's up, everybody? I'm Crap Gamer. This is Crap Gamer Reviews. Please slap that like button and maybe possibly consider subscribing. I would appreciate that. So, the Phantom Blade Zero developer says nobody needs an Xbox. In a recent report published by a Brazilian outlet attending China Joy 2024, it was claimed that a Phantom Blade developer had some harsh words for Xbox ecosystem. It was explained by the developers of both Black Myth Wukong and Phantom Blade Zero that they don't have exclusivity agreements in place with Sony. They just don't see the need to bring their games to Xbox. Now, per the post on the outlet, when an S-game developer was questioned on the platform distribution of Phantom Blade Zero at China Joy 2024, part of their response was scalding. Nobody needs this platform, according to this. The anonymous developer was talking about Xbox. Reportedly, they went on to say that the console platform isn't popular in Asia, which is true, and that Microsoft has made it tough to develop games for the Xbox Series X and S by creating a very overloaded ecosystem. Black Myth Wukong is being released on August 30th on PS5 and PC, while Phantom Blade Zero is assumed to be dropping in 2026. I'm going to link this already so you guys can check this out as well. S-Game and Game Science were at China Joy 2024, and the Brazilian article makes it clear from the developers that while both games aren't being released on Xbox, it isn't because they have secured a exclusivity deal with Sony. They just don't feel that anyone needs the Xbox platform, which is a pretty inflammatory thing to say. However, it's no big secret that Microsoft hardware sales are failing, and that the team looks intent on relying on streaming and cloud-based solutions. So who knows, perhaps maybe even Xbox doesn't need Xbox, according to this article. Now, this is the thing, right? Like, this is what we've all been kind of worried about. I personally don't care about the entire situation with the cloud gaming stuff. I don't feel like that's very popular. I don't feel like that's going to get very popular. I feel like, you would have to be absolutely insane to spend, $70 to $100 on a game that you can only stream, right? Like, that's the goal, though, for Microsoft, I'm sure, is to get people to pay that amount of money. For me, that doesn't make sense. You couldn't play it offline. You couldn't do anything, right? So it's like not a good look, in my opinion. But seeing developers say, hey, Microsoft isn't, Xbox isn't a worthy platform, that's something that I think a lot of people are worried about. Now, this happens to be just a, like a game from like the Asian market or whatever, so maybe that wouldn't be as big of an effect. But when you do look at stuff like Genshin Impact or whatever, these games not coming to Xbox eventually do have some kind of impact on who's going to buy it, because a lot of people buy and a lot of like microtransactions on these types of games or whatever. We know that Wukong is supposed to come to Xbox at some point. They just felt like, they wanted to focus on, the PlayStation 5 version and the PC version, which again, given the level of install base for the Xbox in like Japan and stuff, you can tell why they did that. Now, the other interesting thing is that, Microsoft is losing out on these things without Sony having to spend any money. So can you imagine that? That's like, to me, just absolutely insane that, these companies are out there just saying, hey, let's give Sony an exclusive, and nobody have to kind of pay for that. So that's, one of these interesting type of situations that I've seen time and time again. And when I look at what Microsoft has been able to accomplish throughout the years, it's like they take a couple steps forward and then they take, a couple steps back, and that is incredibly unfortunate in my opinion, because this is not the type of situation that you want to be in if you're if you're Microsoft, right? So you want people to want to put their games on your platform because it's it's going to sell well. It's like, Microsoft makes weird decisions sometimes. Like they raise the price of the Xbox in Japan. Like their console already sells like crap, right? And so hey, let's go ahead and raise the price again, right? Like that doesn't make any sense to me why you would do that. You're a multi-trillion-dollar company. You're selling something that's not selling well, so you raise the price. Like, it should be going the opposite way. I don't care about trends or any of that kind of nonsense. If you're coming out with a game console and you have hardware and nobody's buying it, you got to do what you can to push that console, right? I don't care if you've got some grand delusions about, hey, we've got these amazing games or whatever. You can have great games or whatever, but if you don't have a way if your people don't trust you or believe that you're going to be able to sell something well. And this is why people aren't buying Xbox, right? I mean, there's many reasons why people aren't buying Xbox, but I think one of the biggest reasons is pretty clear that honestly Microsoft is not really backing their console anymore. I think that's probably the biggest reason. Like, when you look at it, like, people want to go, oh, well, not everybody's on the internet, or not everybody does this, or not everybody does that, and that's true. But when you'd be surprised at how many people are kind of self-aware. There's like, I'm not a TikTok guy or anything like that, but there was plenty of those type of things going around when Microsoft was putting their games on PlayStation and Nintendo, and people saying that Xbox was going to be the next, Dreamcast. So people are very much aware of things that they maybe wouldn't have been aware of before. This isn't like the 1990s anymore. So, we do have this kind of situation where, Microsoft is in not a great place, and, people are aware of that. People don't look at them as putting their games on a competing platform. They don't look at that as a great thing. Right? They look at that as more of a weakness, right? Yeah, there's going to be some deluded fanboys that, come out and they go, oh, well, it's great because everything's an Xbox, right? But that's not Xbox. That's the thing, right? If you're somebody that's out there and you like Xbox, then you like Xbox. But it's like, for me, when I see this kind of stuff, I just go, man, these people are cheering on the end of Xbox. It doesn't make any sense to me, and I hope that people kind of come to their senses before too long, because they're cheering the end of something that I feel like was great at one point, and that is the actual Xbox. We don't want that. There has to be like this competition. There has to be this, this kind of back and forth. There needs to be that for things to go a certain way, and I know people kind of don't want to hear that, but it's just the God's honest truth. You need competition. You need that to be there, and Microsoft is like, oh, hey, we're this company, but we don't really give a crap about our console, even though we make one. It's like, how can you guys downplay your console? Maybe if you acted like you gave a damn, people would give a damn, right? Like, that's something that I've never understood. It's like they act so nonchalant about their console, but they clearly care about it. They're just afraid to kind of act like they care about it, which I never understood that, right? If you cared about something, then care about the damn thing, right? Like, don't stop acting like everything you guys do is, driven by this or that or the other thing. It's like, look, you guys have a good product, back it up, advertise it, put great games and great exclusives on it. That doesn't say you have to put everything exclusive, but damn, You should never have done that thing with the 4 games on there. Your console sales have tanked, and your console has looked completely worthless since that point. Developers aren't going to pay attention to your console after that. It's crazy. Anyway, let me know what you guys feel about this in the comments below. I'll check it out. Rack 'em up. Crap Gamer out.